Truly, the Lord is good.
Yes, he is. All the time he is.
Full of grace and full of mercy. Full of kindness. Sometimes, you know, you have to wonder, do everybody really serve the same God? I wonder sometimes, when you serve God, it shows up in your worship. It shows up in your praise. It definitely shows up in your giving. And not just money. Everybody I know don't come to the house of God for the same reason. Because when you come to the house of God, you come to meet God. Simply because he promised to meet you here at his house of prayer. And so when you come to his house, your mind has to be made up that you're coming for worship. I know nothing else now. If you come for anything other than that, you're the wrong place. You have to come for worship. That is to let him know that he is worthy of your praise. And the scripture I gave you is a mandate. It's a mandate. It's a mandate for happiness. It's a mandate for joy. It's a mandate for peace. And see, there are some things you can't get from God unless you give to God. Are you with me? See, you can come all you want, but if you don't come to give him worship, if you don't come to give him praise, you're just going through the motion. And listen, that's nobody's fault but your own. You see, you can't look at nobody but you. See, because all of us, when we get to the house of God, it's personal. That's right. It's personal. And I don't care how you act, you ain't going to keep me from worshiping him. That's your business, see. Because maybe he don't mean to you what he mean to me. But listen, his word, his mandate is the same for us all. It's the same. Now, look at Luke 6:38. Luke 6:38. And let me just use one word. Give. Now, Jesus said that for a reason. The whole thing says give and it shall be given to you. Now, first of all, you ought to give him some worship. You ought to give him some praise. Listen, you can look strange all you want to. But you see, it's what's going on the inside. And when you know it's God on the inside, you don't care what folks think, you give him praise. You give him glory. Now, he says give for a reason. See, giving is not paying. All right. See, some people think it's paying. No. Giving is not paying. Giving is a debt. Amen. You know, if you borrow $100 from me, you owe me that. All right. You say, well, I'm paying you. No, they ain't paying me. That's a debt. Right. Well, now listen, God woke you up, didn't he? Yes. But everything you have, God gave it to you. Now, let me drop this on you. People think that you got to be running a game when you talk about tithing. But the Bible says that 10% belong to the Lord. All right. So listen, when you come to the house of God, you talk about you paying your tithe. No. Your tithe. See, the 10% is already built in there. He gave you that to give to him. Every dollar that you make, look how good God is. He don't ask you but for a dime. Now, I can keep the whole dollar and just give him 10%.
That's right.
Boy, that's good. God is good. Now, if the tithe is a debt, everything that we give to God or pay as a tithe is a seed.
Amen.
Are you with me? You can't get nothing from God if you don't give a thing.
All right.
A seed that is planted will grow.
Amen.
Yes.
Listen here, you got a whole big field out there, and you will never plow nothing but you're looking for corn. You don't put anything in it. You just got a field there. You don't put anything in it.
That's right.
Now, if God was good enough to give you the land, it seemed to me that you ought to plant it. Now, let me make it plainer for you. If he gave you the job, if he gave you the job to work, and you don't give him nothing, you stingy, you don't want but 10%. That's all God wants. Now, guess what? God knows that the person that don't give nothing, and they're miserable.
That's right.
You don't believe that, don't you? You will never find anybody that's happy that don't give God nothing.
That's right.
All right.
You don't believe me? Look around. Folks can have a whole lot.
That's right.
Look at Trump. He's the president of these United States of America. Do you ever see him smile? It seems like something messed up on the inside. Why? Because he's always worried about what he got. And when you're worried about what you got, you're worried about how you're going to get more. And listen here, you'll never have no peace. You never have no joy. And you never have no power. Now look here now. If I got a whole lot of money, I can't get no sleep. I want some rest. And see, look at here. God, everything that God gave us is sacred.
That's right.
I know people don't like to talk about giving, but giving is sacred.
Amen.
Giving is holy.
Amen.
Giving is satisfying. Now, let's look at it sacred. Now, sacred things got to be holy.
Amen.
Right.
Because listen, all I give God, I can't give him more than he can give me. All I'm giving him is just a little bit. But see, the little bit I'm giving him, he required of me.
That's right.
You see, and see, we try to find our way to paint around the little tithing. But see, now, anything you find Old Testament,
All right.
it started in the beginning. So then if tithing is Old Testament, folks try to overlook it. But listen, before it got to Malachi, it was over in Genesis.
Amen.
Now, why did those who had give?
Right.
Well, watch this here. Jesus said, give, and it shall be given. Now, I'm going to show you something here. There's a principle behind that thing. I try to do it regularly. Not for show and not for fashion. But I know the principle behind it. You will always find somebody lacking.
Hey.
Just be glad it ain't you. But you will always find somebody lacking. And listen, God gave you an extra portion so that you can bless somebody else. Now, I told you last week, you see, because stingy people don't understand it.
That's right.
You see, and I wasn't doing nothing more but trying to pay for her groceries in the store. And I pick up a piece of fish or something, and I say to her, I said, would you pay for this for me? No, do I know you? I said, get off. I'm trying to see where the heart is at. I want to pay for her whole stuff you had in the basket. But see, the devil is busy. You know why he don't want you to give? Because he don't want you blessed. And you ain't got to believe me, but look at here. When you start giving,
That's right.
you can't beat God giving. He'll bless you in. You know, and look at here. Everybody got to have the testimony aspect of it as how good God been with them. You see, because when you apply the principles of God, He'll bless your socks off. You ain't got to believe it. But look here, every time you think you're coming short, God puts something else in your barrel. Every time you think you can't make it, God take no way and make no way. And so look at here. See, and folks who don't understand that principle don't know how to praise him. You see, because when you're busted and disgusted, when you get despair, you don't even praise him. But when you give anyhow and know that God is going to make a way, then you start praising him anyhow. Because you got to understand the word of God. You can praise your way out of anything. Look at, all you got to do is keep on praising him. I keep on praising him, but I'm still busted, but keep on praising him. And all of a sudden, God will do what only God can do. And look at here, the same old bill that wasn't paid. Look at here, I ain't trying to figure out how it got paid. Look at here, what I do is hold him to what? I hold him to his word. Now, look at here. You see it. And look at here. You got to hold God to his word. I ain't making up nothing. Because you said give. That's what you said. Give and it shall be given. Look at here. Sometimes it bothers me. Because sometimes you get a little fearful. Because people start giving you. And but I'm sorry if you don't understand because you'll sting yourself. You'll never understand what I'm talking about. But God just be pouring out blessings that you can't even receive. And look at here. When God starts pouring out, you keep on praising him. You keep on giving. You see, some folks. Well, listen. Because God gives. Because God gives. Guess what? He expects you to give. Not only that, but he demands you to give. See, giving is an act of gratitude.
Amen.
Are you with me? Let me make that plain for you. You take your children and you just buy them everything you can buy them. And they don't even say thank you.
All right.
You buy them a brand new telephone and won't wash the dishes.
All right.
Buy them a brand new pair of sneakers and don't want to do anything. Don't show no gratitude. Well, what happens when you don't show gratitude? You withdraw. God does the same thing. You ain't got to believe it, but look here. God knows when you don't deserve what you're getting. And so what God does is withdraw the blessings.
All right.
But I'm just too wrapped up. I'm too tied up to try to mess up my blessing. I want God to keep on giving me. Look at children, you don't want to do right. Mom and dad ought to snatch that from you. You ought to go and say, throw your arms around them and tell them how much you love them and how much you thank them for what you got. Because look at here, just like parents, they know when to cut you off. Well, you get to, maybe y'all don't know what I'm talking about, but God knows exactly when to cut you off. And look at here, his word says that when we give, he'll pour out. He ain't saying he'll just throw me one on every day and now and then, but he said, I'll pour out blessings. You know what pouring out mean? Pouring out mean that just pour them out. Lord have mercy right there. And when God starts pouring out your blessings, the devil can't stand. You see, because when folks don't know your relationship with God, and they want to see you fall, and they want to see you do bad, and they're trying to figure out how you making it. When they think you're busted, and you might be busted, and you might be disgusted, but look at here, God will. Do you hear what I'm saying? God will. When you give when you give all you can give, then God starts giving. The Bible talks about a woman who had just a little mite. And those folks who walk about it was giving, but they could afford to give it. And the woman who didn't have anything but one little mite, she gave everything that you had. You see, some folks give the show out. Yeah, don't you know? I went to church Sunday and I gave. Look at here. God ain't concerned about what you give if it don't come from the heart. You see, it got to come from the heart. And they will give everything that you have. Now watch this here. See, you got to understand what faith is. Faith says, I believe in God. Faith says, I trust God. Faith says God will make a way out of no way. The Bible says without faith, it's impossible to please him. For he that comes to God must believe that he is. And he's a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. Now, what happens when you're in a fix? You're in a situation like the woman with the widow's mite. But what you'll do is give it all. Some folks say you're stupid. No. When you give it all to God, amen. God got everything. Look at here. I ain't in no hurry for him to give it back either. But the Bible says they that they're good to have some Bible readers. They that wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up in wings as eagles, run and not be weary, walk and faint not. And so we got to wait on God. And if you can wait on God, you understand what waiting means. When I'm waiting on God, I ain't frustrated. I'm not aggravated because I can wait till he come. And so when you're waiting on God, I'm so glad right there. When you're waiting on God, he puts something down on the inside. Look at here, I said. When you wait on God, he puts something down on the inside. And I don't care if the hellhounds are on the trail. I don't care if folks are talking. I don't care how they see things. I know that if I wait on him, he'll mount up like wings of eagles. He'll come. He might not come when I want him to come, but he'll always be on time. And so when you know he's coming on time, you don't have to wait. You hear what I'm saying? You don't have to wait until the battle is over. You ought to go ahead and praise him. If you're busted right now, if you're disgusted right now, you ought to praise him anyhow. Because when you praise him, the Bible says when praises go up, blessings come down. So every now and then, you hear what I'm saying? Every now and then, I don't care how situations and circumstances, every now and then, you ought to give him a praise. You ought to tell him thank you. Because well, listen. The Bible says this. When we don't give, that's it. Last week we said, for God so loved, and he gave. And he gave. But yet and still, we don't want to give. They also want to take. Like there's some long-term profit in it. You can take all you want. But one day, you will have to give. Because God says so. Amen. Listen. Not only that, but go back to Malachi. Malachi 3. Now, that's what it says. But he put the principles in the thing. He says, will a man, don't think I'm excluding you women. He said, will a person rob God? And he said, yet you have robbed me. Now listen, first of all, we understand that God don't need nothing. What God needs. So this have to be spiritual. Hey, how can you give God when you got everything? God is saying it based on a principle. See, because some folks think they can get away from God by not being obedient to his word. He says, will a man or will a woman rob God? See, yet you have robbed me. But you say, watch this, but you say, in what way have we robbed you? He said, with tithes and offerings. Now, you pay the number, don't you? You smoke cigarettes, huh? Everybody got their social outlets. But be short-changed God. See, we got all these social things we like to do. But we get to God. See, God is saying it for the principle. So that you can understand the spiritual side of it. See, he said, you rob me. He said, bring it all to the storehouse. Now, I'm going to read all that other part in it. He said, that there may be food in my house. Now watch what he says in that 10th verse. He said, and try me. See that, bro? Try me. Try me and see. When I pull you out of this, and you won't be able to see. I'm glad that God don't just drop me. I want God to drop me. I want to pull it out.
Yes, sir.
If he drop, I might just get one. But he didn't say that. See, when I prove him, he'll pull them out. Yeah, don't you get mad at me because he's pulling them on me. Let him pull them out on you too. All you got to do is do what he said do.
That's right.
He said, I pull you out. Listen, you won't even be able to receive. Now,
Yes, sir.
I don't want you to stop there. Go a little further down. And watch what he says to those who give. He said, I rebuke the devourer for your sake. The devil knows that he can keep you in spiritual bondage. And God knows it. But when you are honorable to God, God will rebuke him. You see, when the devil comes, he got to ask God first.
Yes, sir.
I know it sounds stupid, but he asked God. Could he put his hands on Job? See, Job is enough. God said, no, but God knows that the devil couldn't mess with Job. He could aggravate him. The devil can trouble you. These are problems. But look here, as long as you are true to God, when you're true to God, the devil ain't gonna do nothing but aggravate you. That's all he can do. Can't do you no harm. And if he ain't aggravating you, you must be ain't living right. See? And so listen, I know how, not difficult, but I know how complex it can be. Because see, people try to find all kinds of reasons how they can go around what God says. Just ain't gonna happen. It just ain't gonna happen. Now, he lays some difficult things on us here. Let me go back there for a minute. He says, give to everyone who asks you. You see how quiet y'all got there? You just like leave this door. So what you read about me? Yahoo. He said that. That's what he says. See, he said that for a principal reason. Don't fool yourself. A lot of people in church miserable. You see, because in church don't mean you're in relationship with God. See, tradition can mess you up. And so when you're just in tradition, listen, nothing pleases you. Nothing. You're dissatisfied with this, you're dissatisfied with that. As if they ain't expected. Don't you expect to catch some help in the house of God? If you don't expect that, you're in trouble because the devil gonna come here every Sunday.
Yes, he will.
To mess you up.
Yep.
The devil never got you messed up.
All right.
You see? And so if this don't make sense to you, what does?
There you go.
You see? I ain't making it up. Y'all looking at me, but it's right here. He said, give to everyone who asks you. And then he said, those who take it from you, they let them keep it.
Hey.
See, y'all wouldn't forget your gun. Yeah, man, you owe me my money. That's just what the devil had. Man, where you promised to pay me, you get your gun. And shoot him. Crazy, ain't it? You see what he talks about in there? And I'm he talk about how so-called church folks act. See, We don't mind loving folks who kidney us and who we like. We don't mind that. He said the devil does that.
That's
All
right.
right.
That's right.
See, you're supposed to love folks regardless.
Amen.
That's
Now, you gotta like your attitude.
right. There you go.
You might have a stink attitude, but love you as a person.
That's
Amen.
right.
That's what we gotta do. And listen, you gotta even give folks like that. Huh? See, what they don't understand is that God blesses you more.
There you go.
And you heap hot coals on the devil's head by giving, not by taking,
There you go.
by giving. Now, we can use all the excuses we want.
That's right.
You see, because it's easy. First thing you hear people say, I ain't giving the preacher all my money.
All right.
Y'all pay the preacher all the money. Now listen, some of you say, the church don't need no money. And you rap and run in your mouth. But now, when you come into church, and you sit on that chair there, you're sitting on our money.
Hey,
Pay for it.
hey,
Huh? And you go up under these lights and you're sitting up under our lights.
there you go.
Huh? All the things you look at here, they're not free.
All right.
That
Amen.
little regular van out there, all these little things we got here, they're not free.
All right.
You see? And people try to get around that. Do breakfast for you, don't charge you. It's free. You know. But the more you give some people, the more they complain.
All right.
Yes, yes. Yes, Lord.
They never complain. See? And most times, the folks who do the most complaining, they ain't giving nothing. But God that blesses. You forget God ain't gonna bless you for that. You gotta give. You gotta give.
Yes, yes.
Now, if you do that, God will be pleased with you.
There you go.
You know, rather than just trying to take all the time. Start giving. You know, I know y'all listen to me, but most of y'all don't believe that principle.
All right.
I do.
Do I look like a fool? See, that's the first thing folks say. Because they don't think it works.
I know.
But it works. I tell you it works.
Amen.
Yes, Lord.
And listen, when
Amen.
you give like God told you to give, I declare to you,
Yes, sir.
you won't be going lacking.
There you go. There you go.
You won't be going lacking.
None.
See, I ain't got to be rich.
That's
I ain't got to have no whole lot. But I like to have enough.
Amen.
Just enough. I don't need no whole abundance of it, because then I'll get aggravated. Just give me enough. Let me have just enough. I want to be able to pay my bills and all the other. I don't need no extra, all that extravagant stuff. Don't need all that.
There you go. There you go.
All these fellas, you know, not fellas, but people, period. I'm just talking now. How many cars can you drive?
Hey, hey. One at a time.
How many houses can you live in? TDJ's got about $5 million houses. That ain't nothing to talk about right there. He got way more than that. And he got jets and what other one, the Creflo Dollar and the white boy. They got all this stuff here. I'm saying, look here. One day you're gonna die, busting. You keep on living. and sickness gonna find you one day. All that money, you ain't gonna be able to take it with you.
No.
You don't need but enough. Now, you don't need all that money, and then you got people in your church sick,
There you go.
and you ain't helping nobody. You know, it's a shame. And listen, you got people in your church can give and don't give, you know, and call us their church. It's God's church. If you realize it is, you to help his church.
That's right.
You do what you're supposed to do. Pay your tithes. That's all. You know, I know some folks are looking at me frowning right now. That's all right. You know, it is what it is.
Amen. Amen.
You can't frown at me.
There you go.
I ain't made it up. I ain't made it up. You think I made it up? Go back and follow it and read it and see. Now, you think he's just talking to me? No. talking to you too. See, we got what they call selective hearing. And selective reading also, because see, the things that condemns us, we skip over it.
Yes.
You don't follow it. Watch this head. I'm talking to y'all, don't mind me. That's why people don't go to Sunday school. That's why a lot of people don't come to Bible study. They don't want to learn this stuff here. They just want a little tradition to go with the hoopla. See, but when the rubber meets the road, you make excuses.
Yes, sir.
You know. And you have people quoting so-called scriptures all day long, every day. But what the Lord said, that ain't nothing in the Bible. If you make one step, he'll make two. All kind of cliches. Don't mean a thing. What that mean? If you make one step, he'll make two. You take one step and then just sit out here and make the two for you. That's what you're saying. Don't mean nothing. But it's because people, not everybody, but a lot of people like ignorance. Because it presents them with a good argument. See? You can argue about anything.
Yes, sir.
What make you so right? No. Listen. Bible says, how can two walk together unless they agree? So when we walk together and agree, that means we have to reason.
Yes.
We have to reason. Do you know why the church got so much chaos in it? You want to lead the church with your mind. See? And listen, folks, if you ever start trying to abide by the word, you have a lot less problems.
Amen.
See, because the word will convict you. Can't convict you if you don't put it in. You put garbage in, garbage come out. You put foolishness in, that's what comes out. And you put this in. That's word. This changes attitudes.
Yes, it does.
It changes disposition.
Yes, it does.
Let me tell you, I'm through, but listen, you cannot be in relationship with God, relationship with Him, and act a fool in church.
That's right.
In His house, that is. You can't do that. See, first of all, anytime you come to His house, you ought to ask Him to regulate your mind.
Yes, sir.
Straighten me out, Lord. Get my attitude right. Because listen, you can never worship in the house of God until you get your mind right. Until you get your spirit right. This place is not coming in for tradition. This is not a traditional place to come. This place is for worship. You coming for anything else,